Most people have little clue why they do what they do and why they want what they want. Their behavior is actually completely driven and incentivized by external factors, and real conscious decisions and actions are much rarer than most people think. And we can see that if we look at what most people want nowadays and start to generalize further and further until we reach a point where most people are just, driven and incentivized by the very same things. So let us now find out what is behind all of this, and let's start by the typical things that drive the behavior of people. As we can see here, many people want things like big muscles and being good at fashion and being confident and maybe having and pursuing some kind of good hobby or having money and maybe even a house. But what do all of those things have in common? Well, right now there's not much. We can generalize a little bit. Most of the muscle and fashion and confidence boils down to wanting a partner. And most of the money and the houses and the cars typically boils down to a basic need or requirement of a feeling of safety and predictability for the future. Okay, but what can we do with that? Can we generalize further? The answer is yes, we can. For example, the partner and the hobbies are more or less related to the basic social needs of every human being. After all, humans are group animals in a sense that evolved in pack-like structures, evolutionary speaking, and without any social surrounding, any human that lived alone was pretty much doomed to die, because we could only really function and survive in groups of, at least 10 or more people in small tribes, so to speak. Okay, what do we make of this now? What have social needs and safety in common? Well, it's actually quite simple. It's happiness. Many people seek out social situations, seek out partners, seek out friends, and want to have a house because it makes them unhappy not to do so, and it makes them happy to do so. It's actually quite simple. Most of human behavior is actually driven by the need or the requirement or the dearest wish to just be happy. It's as simple as that. There's nothing really magical about all of this. Okay, but what have we learned today? Can we summarize it somehow? And yes, we can. Well, first of all things we do serve a purpose. Many times we do not know our own goals or what is actually driving our behavior. But when we generalize far enough from all the things we do, we always end up at the same thing. AKA either at because I want to be happy or at because I want to avoid being unhappy. And even the most noble motive can be traced down to the discomfort of knowing that not helping others will cause that person suffering, for example. And all behavior in general can more or less be described by laws or rules of attraction and aversion. There are things people want and like, there are things people hate and dislike. And once we notice all of this, we can skip the intermittent steps and we can start working towards happiness, for example, directly, or work towards avoiding happiness directly. And maybe we can observe our social surroundings and look what they tried and what did not work. And maybe try those things that have a good track record of actually, achieving the goal of happiness. And in general, the reason we are unhappy lies in the fact that we are somewhat deluded and misunderstand what brings long-term happiness and what brings the opposite. Many people try to be happy and try really hard to do the things that they think brings happiness, but in reality those are, in a sense, false friends. They do not bring long-term happiness. For example, drugs and most sources of instant gratification have a strange allure to them. But in the end, they just bring short-term gratification, aka pleasure, but not happiness. And knowing what we really want gives us the opportunity to avoid wasting time and making bad decisions, and it makes us much less susceptible to manipulation by others. Because others, for example an advertisement, can always try to convince us that we need a new microwave or a new car or a new house to be happy, while in reality those things contribute little towards personal well-being. Okay, and that's pretty much it for today. I hope you learned something and maybe understood your own incentives a little bit better. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. And if you feel like I missed something or misrepresented something, feel free to let me know in the comment section so that other people can benefit from your wisdom. And until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.